Heartland Church. It's Pastor Jeff with this week's video announcement update. Want to talk about some things that are coming up in the next week or so. But before we do that, I want to talk a little bit about what's been going on in our gatherings. For starters, last Sunday was great. Austin preached a message from 2 Peter chapter 4 about how we steward the gifts that God gives us and how that relates to parenting and fatherhood. That was a wonderful blessing. And on top of that, we got to experience 3 baptisms. We got to see 2 children and 1 adult get baptized as a testimony of how God is working in their lives, and it was awesome. And so that was wonderful. And then we're also in the midst of this conversation that we began the first Sunday in June that's going to last 2 more weeks, where we're looking at 2 Corinthians chapters 8 and 9 and thinking about how the gospel makes us generous. How does the generosity that God pours into our lives, which, let's be honest, we're going to spend eternity talking about and reflecting on and pondering how incredibly, overwhelmingly generous God is with us. But how does that, what gets poured into our hearts, how does that then shape us into generous people? That's really what we're talking about. And so we've covered some wonderful topics about the fact that this is really a matter of the heart. And it's really about how much we trust God. And what we talked about last weekend is where Paul's saying, look, I'm not telling you to give as a command. I'm saying that how you give is a reflection of how genuine your love is for God and for the people around you, which is beautiful. And so we're going to continue that conversation this Sunday by thinking about the discipline of giving, the discipline of generosity, how that's a part of how God disciples us and how he wants to see us grow as believers. And so I think it's going to be a great conversation. I know that for a lot of people, it's awkward to talk about money in the church, but the reality is that the Bible talks more about money than any other practical topic. And we need to understand how the gospel shapes how we think about stewardship and generosity. So I hope you can be there for the conversation. It's going to be an important one. Look forward to the rest of this series. I'm also looking forward to what's coming up after June. So if you think about it, and depending on your life rhythms, this may not be true for you, but I think for most people, summer, they think about rest. Like, what does it look like? I know kids think that who are out of school. They're like, that's great. I don't have school. But things tend to slow down. Days are a little longer. We tend to be able to rest. Vacations happening. So as we think about rest in July and August, I love that we're going to be in the book of Psalms for those 2 months. You might remember a couple years ago, we did what we called a selection of Psalms. We're going to do that again in July and August. And I love that moves parallel with summer rhythms, because really what God is inviting us to is to rest in his presence. And the Psalms have a unique way of beckoning us into intimacy with God. So that's sort of what's coming up before we close out the year in some minor prophets. Really excited about all that. And I'm really excited that next week is our connection week. So for men and for women, we have opportunities for you to connect with other men and women and get to know other people, build relationships, go deeper in those relationships. And so for our women's ministry, there's 4 connection events next week. I think a couple of them at night, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon. You can jump on the app or the website, look at that, at the details, and you can register for one of those 4 events so that you can meet other women and develop relationships. A great opportunity to do that. For our guys, that's Saturday, so a week from tomorrow is our men's connection event where we're gonna we're gonna have a cornhole tournament, we're gonna have a Texas Hold'em tournament, there's gonna be dinner, and so we'd love for you to be a part of that. We'd also love for you to bring other guys to that. That starts at 4 o'clock. A week from tomorrow, and you do need to register as well for that. You can check it out on the website, on the app. We'd love to help you get connected. I think that's it. It sounds like enough, other than to say that on behalf of all the elders, I would say that we love you guys, and it's a joy to be able to walk with you and journey towards greater intimacy with Christ. Hope you have a great weekend, and I hope to see you on Sunday. Thanks so much.